Good morning. My name is Harley. Welcome to this week's edition of Delta Media Group's Tech Tuesday. Today, we are going to go over the sold listings system, more or less how to add sold listings pages to your DeltaNet agent site. So, let me roll on in and we'll see what we've got. So, move up into the DeltaNet here. And as always, here we are on our welcome page. And to get to or to start setting up your sold listings pages, you want to go up to the website tab and down to pages. Now I'm going to set up a few different pages. The reason that we wanted to cover the sold listings pages as its own video is because it's kind of robust in that you can create multiple listing pages that return only certain subsets of sold listings. So first off, here we are under pages. We're going to go up to new page. And we're going to choose predefined page, since the sold listings pages are one that we kind of create for you, at least to a degree. And we'll go up to predefined page link and use this drop down to select sold listings. Now I've got doubles in here, but that's because this is the test site. You'll just see one of each page type. So the first one we'll make is going to be a page that'll just show all of our sold listings, or all the sold listings that we've added to the system. So here we are. We'll leave sold's keyword blank, and for sold's header, we could add any custom content we want here, and it'll show up at the top of the page. So you can add pictures, you can add links to the top of this page, or you can just add a title. These are my sold listings. And why not put a picture in there too? I'll use this dog picture. That's huge. Okay, we'll use a smaller dog picture. All right. There we go. That's a reasonable picture. All right, now as with all of the newly created pages, custom pages, or predefined pages, the link title is going to be what you actually click on your home page. This is the actual name of the link. So I will make that all sold listings, and we're going to add it to our navigation menu, which means it's going to be usable in the drop-down navigation at the top of our site. And for page title, we'll say sold listings in Northeast Ohio. And page title, like all the other custom pages, is, it's a good idea to put something descriptive in there, but not too much, just a basic description of the page. And it's a good idea to have your basic market area in there so that search engines can pick that up. And the meta description tag you set up in a similar way, and any of these need help buttons will give you some examples and some more information about what you should put in terms of meta description or meta keywords. And we've talked about that before in some of these videos. So I will go ahead and put in here sold real estate, or something along those lines. And we'll put sold listings in Ohio, Massillon, Ohio. And you can put whatever terms in there you want separated by commas. But like I said, if you click on any of these need help links, or we have a previous video also that goes over meta tags in a little bit more detail. And that's the kind of information you use to fill those in. So now that we've got our fields filled in, we're just going to go down here and click update. And that adds the page to our page list over here. So the page has now been created and the page exists at this link, or at this URL. But we don't really have a link to it yet. So if we scroll down to our navigation menu section here, down at the bottom we have all sold listings. And because it is the first item, and it's not indented at all, it should show up right in our top navigation. So we'll go up here and click preview website, and all sold listings hiding down here. So as you can see, we have too many items in our top navigation. So what it did is it dropped it down to the next line here. So it'll always wrap if you have basically too many characters, too much length going through here. So let's fix that while we're in here. So we'll scroll down And we can get rid of this recent transactions page. An easy way to do that is we can click on Add Remove Items. And we'll find recent transactions. We'll just uncheck that and hit Apply. That removes it from our top navigation, from this navigation menu area. And it's exactly the same as if we had gone up here and clicked on recent transactions and unchecked this navigation menu box. That'll do the same thing. And then hit Update. And there we go. So that's gone, and that made room for our all sold listings. In fact, I don't like it there either. So I will drag it up and save. We'll refresh our page. And there we go. I like that a little better. All right, so now that we've created our sold listings page, we need to add some sold listings. So the system doesn't automatically know what sold listings are yours. And part of that is because you could be the buyer's agent or the seller's agent, and the system doesn't have a way to pick that up automatically, at least not yet. So in order to add sold listings, we'll go up to Listings, down to Sold Listings, and you can see I already have a few added. But to add a new one, under MLS ID, we'll go ahead and type in the MLS ID of our sold listing, click on Find Listing. In this case, it brings up two that match that MLS ID, so we'll just uncheck the one we don't want. And we can modify this sold price. Good enough. We can set our status, so we can either have it show up as a sold listing or as pending. You can choose whether you were the seller's agent or the buyer's agent. And it'll automatically, well, it won't really try and figure that out for you. So you just need to select which one. The main thing for that is you can search for your own listings by MLS ID, or you can search for other agents' listings, and in case you are the buyer's agent on that listing. So it doesn't have to be one of your listings or even a company listing. You just type in an MLS number and it'll pick it up if our system has it. Now we can add a tagline that'll also show up on that page. So we'll go ahead and say tagline, line. And it'll automatically put in the comments from the MLS, but you can modify those too if you'd like. See this great planet of Druidia. I watched Spaceballs recently. Add sold listing, and there we are. So that's added to our list. So now if we go to our all sold listings page, it should return all of our sold listings. Get rid of a couple of these windows. It'll return all of our sold listings regardless of where they were or anything like that. Everything that's in this list should show up on our all sold listings page. So we'll click all sold listings. There's our header information that we created, and like I said, you can customize that any way you see fit. And then there's what our sold listings page looks like. Now another thing you can do on this sold listings page is right now I have it set to a 2-column template. We can change that to 1 column and click Change Template. And now if we go back to our all sold listings page, it lays them out like this instead. And you can see there's the comments I added. And there, it just gives a little information about all the listings we've added. So I will switch that back to 2 column because I like it better. There we are. And then on 2 column, our tagline also shows up. So we'll back out of that. Now, the other thing you can do with sold listings pages is you can create specific sold listings pages based on whatever kind of criteria you want because you define it manually. So what we'll do is go back into Pages, and I'm going to create another sold listings page. So I'll say New Page, and predefine just like before, sold listings. And this time we're going to add a keyword, and I will make the keyword Canton. These are the listings I've sold in Canton. We'll call it Canton Sold Listings, add it to the navigation menu. Canton, Ohio. There we are. And I'll leave these blank because we've talked about what they do, so you can fill those in. and then we'll hit update. And there we are. So we should have another page that's called Canton Sold Listings. You can see it in our list there. Well, it says listing. I do have a habit of missing those S's. Listings. There we go. Update. And now we can see it down here in our navigation menu. Now in this case, I'm going to make this one show up in a drop-down menu under All Sold Listings. So we'll drag it up here and we'll indent it one and save it. So now if we go back to our page, if we roll over All Sold Listings, we can either click on All Sold Listings to get to our main page, or we can click on Canton Sold Listings and it'll show just those in Canton. But it doesn't check the location by itself. We have to tell it which listings are in Canton. So to do that, we'll go back to our Sold Listings page. So Listings, Sold Listings. And I'm going to say, we'll say this first one is in Canton, so we'll just click on the MLS number and we'll change the keyword and we'll add the keyword that we added to that particular Sold Listings page. You can add multiple keywords too. You would just separate them with commas. And now we'll update. Now it should have Canton saved there. And if we look at Canton Sold Listings, we can see we have Canton here. So because those keywords match, that sold listing should show up on this particular Sold Listings page. Now it'll still show up on the All Sold Listings page, but it'll show up on this one specifically. That way you can divide them up that way. And there it is. Now also, you wouldn't have to have an All Sold Listings page. If you just wanted specific Sold Listings pages based on those specific keywords, you could do that. So you could have just one that says Sold Listings here that doesn't go anywhere, and then below it you would have a drop down for, and around here I'd just say Canton, Massillon, because those are local areas. But you could make those whatever areas you want. You could make it based on price, because the only way the system knows what listings to show there is based on what keyword you have entered. So you can do that whatever way works out for you. All right, so I will go back into Sold Listings, and I'm also going to take this next one down the line, and it has just about every property type selected for it. That's why it's stretched out like this. And we'll change our keyword to Canton. Update comments. So that one should show up on our Canton page, and we'll make one more Sold Listings page for a different area also. So just to go over it one more time, new page, predefined page, Sold Listings. We'll say these are my Massillon Sold Listings. I don't even think I'm spelling Massillon wrong. Yeah, close enough. There we are. All right, so there's our Massillon Sold Listings page. We created it the same way, just with a different keyword so that we can match different listings to it. So this will only return listings with that keyword. We've got our description, our link title, our page title all set up the same way. And if we scroll back down here, you'll see it showed up in our lists. So we will drag that and indent that one under Sold Listings also, and save. And then we go back to Listings, Sold Listings, and we're going to take these last two. Just click on the MLS number, keyword, Massillon, update, and back to Sold Listings and pick our last one here. I'll say I'm the buyer's agent on that one. And update. All right. So we'll go back to our page and refresh it, and let's see what happened. So if a user comes in, they'll be right here on our home page, and we'll go up to All Sold Listings, and you can see all four of the sold listings that I have added to the system. And if we go down to Canton Sold Listings, we see just the two that I have matched to Canton because they have the matching keyword for this Sold Listings page. And if we go down to Maslin, there you are. You see just the two that I added with the Maslin keyword. So there you have it. There's the sold listing system. The last thing I'll add about it is the sold listing system. Because it's a search-based system, it will search a few different areas a few different areas in our system as to how it finds listings there. First, it'll search all active listings, because sometimes listings can show up as active, or maybe you want to add them ahead of time, but you don't want to add the keyword to them or actually have them display until they sell, but you want to still get them added to the sold listing system so that you can work with them from there. So it'll search all active listings when you type in the MLS number. When you type in the MLS number, it'll search all recently inactive listings. If we're getting sold listing data from your MLS, it will search that, but we're not getting it for everybody, so it just depends on whether we're getting that data or not as to whether it'll find them. And it will also search our archives. So as long as the listing was in our system at some point for a long enough period of time, and usually that's not very long, it's just a few days. As long as it's in our system for a period of time before it goes inactive, it should show up in our archive somewhere. So it should be searchable in this sold listing system. The other thing is, if you do use this sold listing search to try and find a listing and it doesn't find one, we don't really have a way to add it on our end. And we can't, we don't have data from the MLS for that listing is what it comes down to. So you can add the listing on your own if you go to Listings and Active Listings. And it'll depend on your company as to whether they've granted you access to this system. But you can click on Enter New Pocket Listing, and you would create the listing here as a pocket listing, but you would set the status as inactive and will come back on market. So that puts it in the system with whatever data you add here, leaves it inactive, so it won't actually show up as an active listing on the website. But because you have it set this way with the and will come back on market, it doesn't delete it from our system. So you'll be able to pick it up with the sold listing system and add it that way. So what you would do here is you would just set that status. You can either let it generate a listing number automatically, or you can type one in. And you go down the line, fill in the property category. The sale price is actually the list price of it. Address, and you just need the most basic information since it's only going to show up on that sold listings page. And then once you have everything filled in here, you just click Submit down here at the bottom. That'll create the listing. And then once it's created, you'll be able to see it in your active listing set here, and it'll show up like this, Delta Media Group inactive for type. And to add a picture to it, you'll just click on the MLS number, click on Photos, and you can add a photo to it. Since for sold listings, you're going to want probably just one photo in there because that's all that's going to show up on that sold listings page. So you'll go in here, add one photo. You can do that by just clicking Choose File, and then you would pick a file here. Once you have it in place, it'll show up with an upload button. Or here we are, upload new photos. So you'll click the upload button and that'll add it to this one. Then you'll be able to find it through that sold listing search. All right, so that covers the sold listing system. As always, feel free to contact us if there's anything you need or if you have any questions. You can also comment on this video, or if you have any suggestions for new videos down the road, or there's a system that you want us to go over in a little bit more detail, feel free to leave a comment on one of the videos or send a message into support@deltagroup.com, and we can make sure to get a video made for it. A video made live, in fact, since these are indeed live. So, have a wonderful week. I will be back on and talk to you again next week, and contact us if you have any questions. Thanks a lot.